A very special guest today is Miss Martha Raye, currently starring in Everybody Loves Opal, the comedy hit at the Pheasant Run Playhouse in St. Charles. Welcome, Martha Raye, to Those Were the Days.
Oh, thank you, Charles. Nice to be aboard.
Thank you. Your career has really been a fabulous one, and it has spanned just about every phase of show business, hasn't it?
Yes, I think every phase, as you said, every phase, if I can remember correctly.
You were literally born in a trunk, weren't you?
Well, backstage, yes. My parents came over from Ireland, and they started in burlesque here in the States, and they just raised their children backstage.
Reed and Hooper.
Hooper.
Reed and Hooper. Did you, as a teenager, I understand, I read someplace in my my research that you you appeared with Paul Ash.
Right here in Chicago.
At the Oriental?
At the Oriental, and then later on at the Uptown and Downtown. And then the Chicago Theater.
You were a singer and a comedian, too?
No, I wasn't doing comedy then.
No comedy then.
No.
Quite a singer.
Well, thank you.
I remember some very fine television appearances where Martha Raye, the comic, put aside her, comedy for a while to do some straight singing in it. It was marvelous.
Well, when I had my own TV show, I used to do at least one ballad in the hour-and-a-half show.
Well, your show was in the early 50s, wasn't it? Middle 50s?
I had it for 7 years, starting 52. That's right.
52. You were on the. Wasn't it the All-Star Review?
All-Star Review, right.
And then became the Martha Raye Show.
Right.
And I think anyone who remembers the Martha Raye Show from those golden days of TV will remember you and The Rock, huh?
Rocky Graziano, like Goomba.
Goomba, yeah.
Goomba, yeah.
What fun it was to see those shows.
We had a lot of fun doing it. I preferred doing television then, much more so now, because it was alive. You know, we had no cars, no big teleprompters or things like that. We had to know the show.
What night was that on? Was it on a specific
We were on a Tuesday night, I believe. No, that was a Milton Berle night.
Was on, yeah.
We were on a Thursday night.
Did you have to work almost around the clock to put that stuff together?
Yes, we worked for about 7 days straight through.
Was it pretty much of a grind putting out something like that so regularly?
Well, it was hard work, but you felt good about it because it came over with everybody knew their parts, you know, and you weren't looking into the camera, into some lines being fed to you, you know. So you could your timing was much better and everything.
Yeah. It was nice to work in front of a live audience too.
Oh, indeed, yes.
Now then, you of course were doing some guest things before and during and after that too, working with I guess Perry Como and Steve Allen.
Steve Allen, Carol Burnett, recently Carol Burnett and Red Skelton, and some of my own specials. And most everybody that had a variety show, you know, Andy Williams and all of them. I do about 6 guest shots a season.
Boy, oh boy. You know, it always seemed like a special kind of magic when two great clowns would get together, and I'm talking about Martha Raye and Milton Berle.
Oh, yes,
you guys had a lot
of
fun, didn't you?
Well, Milton Berle and Nick Connis, my manager, they were responsible for my getting my own show, own TV show.
How did that come about?
Well, Milton was talking to his sponsors and his bosses and everything, and he said she should have a variety show of her own. And they watched me on his show. I did about 16 shots with him before I had my own. And luck came along, and I got it.
There's one routine of yours that I couldn't say where it appeared or when I saw it, but had something to do with a beat-up old apartment and an ironing board and...
I do that in every one of my shows.
Yeah,
that was my apartment with the
colors
of my hair. Yeah. Yes, Yeah, that was like a regular character right through the show.
Those were the days.
Yes, those were the days, all right,
Those
Chuck.
really were the
Happy days.
Yeah. Let's skip back just a little bit from those days when you were at the Oriental and in some of the other theaters here in Chicago with Paul Ash. You went out to, was it directly from here to New York?
Yes, from here in New York.
Yeah.
Yes, and I did a nightclub. I worked at the Casino de Paris there, and Jimmy Durante was starring on the show, and he played straight for me in a drunken skit I was doing, and it was marvelous. He was a great help. He helped me a great deal.
Boy, that's great.
Yes.
That's great.
Someone like that.
That boggles the mind. Jimmy Durante and Martha Raye together?
Yeah. Oh, it was beautiful.
Did you ever do anything together on TV?
Yes, we've done TV guest shots together with the Lennon sisters, and then when he had his own TV show. We worked quite a bit together. Not in the nightclubs anymore. That was the first and last nightclub we worked together.
Were you in the... you were in one of Earl Carroll's shows. Oh,
that was in 1931 or 32, I believe. Earl Carroll's sketchbook.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Of course, I feel at home being back, near Chicago anyway, because I was raised in North Clark Street.
You were?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Chicago.
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, you went from Chicago and the Oriental and to Earl Carroll and on into New York.
Into New York.
And how did you find your way from the Broadway stage to the motion picture screen?
Well, I had an engagement out at a club out in California, Hollywood, California, called the Century Club, or the Casanova Club, rather, later called the Century Club. And that was when the old Trocadero was going. Every Sunday night they had these big variety shows of all lot of stars and newcomers. And I was on it one Sunday night. I was working with the late Joey Lewis. And all the stars were in the audience, just loaded with stars. And Bing Crosby and Norman Torvald were sitting together. So came the next day, which was Monday morning, and they signed me up for the first movie, which was Rhythm on the Range, in 1936.
That was Bing Crosby.
Bing Crosby.
Bing Crosby, yeah.
It was also Bob Burns' first movie and Francis Farmer's first movie, as well as mine.
Well, and you did a couple of films with Bob Burns after that.
I did 5 with Bob Burns, and 6 with Bob Hope, and 5 with Bing Crosby.
And you did some things with Abbott and Costello, didn't you?
Yes, did two.
What was that? That early one was
Keep 'em Flying.
Keep 'em Flying.
Right.
Yeah. And you worked with Olson and Johnson.
Yes, Hell's a Poppin'.
Hell's a Poppin'.
Uh-huh.
And that was about 1941, I think, wasn't it?
I think my favorite of all those, one I did with Charles Chaplin, with Monsieur Verdoux. We did that in 1947.
Are we going to get a chance to see that again in the Chaplin thing? That's
yes, sir.
Around?
He's released it to be shown.
Oh, boy.
Thank goodness.
We'll be happy to see that.
Well, I only saw, after we made it, released it, it was a year later that I saw it, and I was in Scotland. I saw it in Scotland. And that was the first and last time I've ever seen it.
Was it good to see it?
Oh, yes, it was.
How do you like watching yourself on the screen?
Well, I don't know. It varies sometimes. You know, you see the mistakes you make, and of course it's too late then, but at least you learn what not to do the next time.
You once played the daughter of W.C. Fields,
right?
Didn't you?
Right.
And
yes.
that was in
that was a big broadcast of 37 or 38.
38, I think.
38.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about radio?
Radio, I was on the radio for about 8 years with Al Jolson, and then after Al Jolson with Dick Powell.
Was that on the Kraft Music Hall? Or?
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah.
And Dick Powell, was that on Hollywood?
No, he took over for Al Jolson.
Oh, Powell was on the Kraft Music Hall.
No, at that time, it was we had...
Shell Chateau?
No, it was just a variety show with Al Jolson. I forget who the sponsors were.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just called the Al Jolson Show. And after Al Jolson left, then Dick Powell took over his spot. And we were with Dick Powell for about 2 years.
A major part of your life has been spent entertaining and visiting and even nursing our servicemen. I guess when the bombs dropped first on Pearl Harbor, you were among the first entertainers to head overseas to entertain the troops, weren't you?
Uh-huh.
And all through the years, you've been a great representative of show business and of the American people. As a matter of fact, you got an Oscar in 1969, wasn't it?
Right, uh-huh.
The Jean Herschel Humanitarian Award for your efforts representing show business, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I was so bloody nervous I didn't know what I was doing that night.
You know, I've never been able to say congratulations to an Oscar winner. It's quite a thrill for me.
Well, thank you. I was very thrilled myself, too.
You were wounded twice in your efforts.
In Vietnam, yeah.
Vietnam, yeah.
Not really serious, though. I mean, I'm still here right now.
Wounded is wounded. Serious is serious.
Well, I've had worse hangovers, to tell you the truth.
They had to rescue you a number of times, I understand.
Well, that happens with anybody, no matter where you are over there, because there's no front line, you know. So that happens all the time.
Well, now, since those days of radio and television and overseas, of course, you're still going. Of course,
I worked the old Shape Free here a lot of times.
Oh yeah, up the steps.
I worked before then. I worked at old Frolics.
The Frolics.
Yeah, that's way before your time.
Was that a?
Then remember the Latin Quarter that was upstairs? I worked there too.
Boy. You've really been based a lot in the Chicago area, haven't you?
Yes, indeed.
Well, I think everybody loves you here. They sure love you when they see you. And well, Everybody Loves Opal is the title of the show out here, but I think it could be.
I like the play.
Well, it could be accurately said. Everybody loves Martha.
Oh well, you feel that. It's wonderful to have an audience like this because you really do feel it. You know, they're so beautiful and responding to you, and it's like a whole family. It's just like your own family sitting out there. It's just marvelous.
I think, you're the kind of a person with whom everyone can identify. They they can feel close to someone like you, and they
Well,
feel,
doing the type of comedy I do, you know, it's the old slapstick, and then being around so many years, you know.
Well, it's the personality. It's the
Thank you.
personality, you know.
Thank
so
you.
You've been spending a lot of time on Broadway and then across the country too with Hello Dolly.
Mm-hmm. Hello Dolly, and let's see, I just finished doing Hello Dolly out on the coast, and I'm going to do it again when I go back. I don't know the exact date at the Huntington Hartford in L.A. I don't know the date though.
Speaking of these clubs and things where you've played, you had your own club for a while, didn't you?
Yes, Nick Condis, my manager, and myself, we owned 3 clubs in Florida. We did, Miami Beach. One was the Martha Raye 5 o'clock Club, the other was the Beachcombers, and the third one was the Copa City. So we had all 3 of them.
And did you appear regularly at each of them?
No, just in the one, 5 o'clock.
The 5 o'clock.
Right.
Well, now you're going from the Pheasant Run Theater to where?
I'll be doing a touring in summer with the Minsky's special review that was written for me.
Oh, great.
And we're going in the Theater in the Round, concert-like tours, you know. And then we'll be going to Las Vegas with it.
And where can we see you next on television?
Well, my own show is on Saturday mornings, The Bugaloos. I don't know if you ever see it.
Yes.
That's still on. We're still doing that. Then when I get back to the coast, I'll be doing shots with Carol Burnett and Andy Williams and with Campbell and the rest of them, you know, and Dean Martin.
Martha Raye is always a welcome guest, and you've been...
Well, it's nice to have.
You're a welcome guest today on Those Were the Days. Thank you, Martha Raye, for sharing some memories with us.
Thank you, Chuck, very much.